Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen Workshop for December the 2nd, 2025. We have a quorum. I call this meeting to order. This will be for our regular meeting for December the 4th at 6 p.m. Thursday night's prayer will be by Mayor Cole. The Pledge of Allegiance will be by Alderwoman Hobbs. First thing we'll do is approve the minutes. We will have our department head reports, and then we will move into the consent agenda, which we will approve the 2026 meeting and holiday calendar. B, we authorize the mayor to execute the certifications of assurances by the chief executive of applicant government in support of the Laverne Police Department's application for the Patrick Leah Bulletproof Vest Partnership. That's something that we do every year. Chief, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. C, approve amendment number 6 to the professional services agreement with the Reagan Smith Associates LLC for design phase for services for the proposed South Walden Road widening project. Gary's already at the podium because he knew I was going to ask him to come up here and talk to us about it.
The warning was appreciated, Vice Mayor.
You're welcome.
All right, so we have our project is going through right next to Arbor Ridge, and they're at two very different elevations, and they were both being designed at the same time. And so Arbor Ridge, they came in much lower than we did and put in a retaining wall, and our design shows up over here, and to have a safe slope, their retaining wall was too short. So we had an option between making the slope steeper, which obviously did not meet safety standards. We did not like that. So we're having to go back in and design an addition, basically, onto their retaining wall to make it higher. And this was something that our designer did not foresee at the time, and the price of it is $34,500 as a design change order. So in dummy terms, Gary, for myself, how high is the wall? How high will it be? It's going to be about 14 feet high. So it's actually going to be way above the road? And No, it's below the road. It's below the road. It will be at the road, and you can see that retaining wall they have now, which is about 8 feet high. I've seen that. It's going to make it about 6 foot higher so that it won't be as steep a slope down to it. And we will be putting a guardrail up at the top to keep the cars off even the lighter slope, just again for safety.
Is there going to be sidewalk there?
Yes, there will.
So is the wall going to hold back water for sound, or what exactly is it for?
It's holding up the dirt that's holding up the road.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any more questions for Gary while we got him up
Hello,
here?
Mr. Vice Mayor. So we're on number 6, Gary. Any more plans for anything else that we've not seen, or anything else that might come up with this to add on that we can foresee? I know it's an ongoing project, but what's your thoughts on
risks that we have foreseen through the design phase? I don't see any more. But again, it's a big earthwork project, like all of them. So whenever we start digging, we're going to be surprised by stuff.
Okay. I guess it's normal for a project this size. As time goes by, sometimes there's going to be some add-ons or takeaways.
Yes, sir. As you're getting out of the paper and onto the ground, paper's two-dimensional, and suddenly you go, oh, that retaining wall's too short. That's really easy to see standing out there right now. It's not as easy to see when you're looking at 1,000 pieces of paper.
I get it.
And Gary, just for the rest of the board to understand, obviously the obviously widening is one, but obviously getting it flatter rather than undulating road that is now. That's the intent.
Absolutely, yes, sir. And this is coming up to the top of the hill, so we're having to raise it here, and it goes up to the top of the hill. And again, it's to make it so it's not as steep, and you have better sight distance, and makes the overall road much safer than it is now, which is the bottom line.
Is there housing there next to the retaining wall?
The housing is planned to be about 60 foot maybe from the retaining wall. So it's not like in the shadow of it, but it's It's off of the back of their lot. The retaining wall is right at the right-of-way line.
Any more questions? Thank you, Gary. So we're on to D. Approve an agreement with the town of Smyrna for the reimbursement of Smyrna for construction costs associated with the relocation of gas utilities located within the Blair Road West project. I guess this is Gary's also, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Am I reading this right, Gary? Because we always condemn you for spending money. Am I reading this right? You're going to save us some money?
A shocker. Yes, I'm as surprised as you are.
I had to make this bigger to make sure I was reading that right.
Y'all approved a contract with Mastech Civil LLC for Blair Road for about $9.2 million. Part of that is to help town of Smyrna do their gas line relocations. This is the agreement by which they're going to reimburse us for about $260,000 of it. You'll see it says $275,000. They put a little bit of contingency on there.
Sounds good. I like that. Have any questions, folks? All right. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Item E, approve the donation of shipping container for the fire training site. I guess Mr. Ronnie's looking forward to this. $7,000.
Yes, sir, that's correct. It'll be used for storage.
So you won't burn it?
No, sir.
All right.
Not yet.
Item F, approve an athletic facility reservation with Legacy Homeschool Resource Center to use fields at Veterans Memorial Park. That's pretty much the same thing we did last year with the homeschool. Is that correct, David?
Yes, sir.
Approve an athletic facility reservation from Rock Springs Middle School softball used for Veterans Park. They're wanting one field for practices, and there again, that's something we did with them last year. Miss Sonny Jackson runs that program. Item H, approve statement of work from Civic Plus to add smart forms module to the city's website. Bruce, I read over that. Put it in dummy terms.
It basically gives us a better way to use forms, electronic forms instead of paper forms. It's all encrypted, it's safe, it's in the cloud, whereas, we'll take paper forms now and we scan them in and put them into Laserfish or whatever. It's not exactly encrypted or safe. So this kind of stems partially from what we've been going through, but this will allow us to expand our use of electronic forms, to conduct business in various departments.
Sounds make it more efficient also, I guess.
Yes, sir, it should.
All right. And then we will move on to new business. Resolution 25-29, a resolution of the City of Laverne Board of Mayor and Aldermen to declare property owned by the city to be surplus to the city needs. Looks like we got a fantastic looking 2014 Ford. Resolution 2530, a resolution authorizing the City of Laverne to participate in the Public Entity Partners Cybersecurity Partners Matching Grant Program. God knows we need more of that. Wouldn't you agree?
Definitely, Vice Mayor.
Resolution 2531, a resolution established the City of Laverne bank account policy. I read over that too, and I'm going to let Danielle explain that to us.
You want to come to the podium or right here?
Either one's fine. You come up here, we can look at you.
Yeah, no.
Pull the mic down to your mouth.
Pull the mic down so
Sure.
we can hear you.
This is a new policy. It replaces the check signing policy. Bruce and I worked on this. It establishes who can open an account, the authorized check signers, any controls for digital transactions. More payments are online now with ACH wires, virtual cards, so forth. Also outlines the procedures for segregations of duties, and then that it should be reviewed annually to make sure that it's the most current security measures on there. So all of the accounts now for the city of Laverne have fraud protection on those. The check signing process stayed the same. It's just the checks that are written on the city account.
Any questions? Item 8, Resolution 2025-32, a resolution regarding the economic impact plan for Waldron Station mixed use development area. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Coates because some of these numbers I was looking at are staggering.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Just looking through the document, last month we had a similar document that was brought to us on the consent agenda, and after talking to the legal department and looking at state statutes, one of the concerns that had to be done was it has to be a resolution. So this is now a separate line item under a resolution that Bruce and staff have put together, but it's to do with the TIF and the ongoing process of getting Twining stations into earth-moving position. The county has already approved it. It's just procedural for us to have the necessary signatures in place, i.e. the mayor, Bruce, and the city attorney.
Is this the last piece of the puzzle to this?
It is, yes.
And that I know that Jason went to the county with all the TIF information, and they're happy. All of that's been resolved, and
so the county IDB signed off on it, and so has the county commission. This is just procedural for us to for the city to sign this document. The board authorised the signatories to sign the document.
Any questions? All right, we'll move on to number 9, Board of Zoning Appeals. We have one term vacant, Mr. Justin Greer. We have one application, Brett Windrow. I guess we'll take applications through tomorrow, Bruce?
Probably through noon on Thursday.
Through noon on Thursday. And then the Park and Recreation Advisory Committee removed one member, and then one member expires, Mr. Oliver. I guess you all will reach out to him, and then Angel Rosenthal. I'm going to ask that we remove her from the board. I've not seen nor heard from her. And we probably will take applications for that next month, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Number 9, Beer Board. One term expires December 31st. Jennifer Maxey. They will reach out to her and see if she would like to stay on that board. And then the Library Board. We have 3 terms expired December 31st. Glenn Green, Leslie Ballard, and Kyla Coaster. I guess they'll reach out, see if they want to stay. We got a lot of board members here. Stormwater Appeals and Advisory Board. One term expires December 31st. Earl Garvin Jr. Mr. Earl will be reached out to. And now for the fun stuff. We're going to get Mr. Patton up here, or over there. He's going to elaborate on the evaluation for our city administrator.
Absolutely. Let me pass them out to you. So as you're aware, annually, the city administrator is due a performance evaluation by the five of you who are the elected officials. So I want to just tell you what you have in your packet there, and then I'll give you some highlights and answer any questions you might have. The first document you have is the scores related to each of the categories. Just for your own reference, as you're looking at the members across the top, Alderman Coates is the first column as member 1. Vice Mayor No is in the second column as member 2. Alderman Hobbs is member number 3. Mayor Cole is member 4, and Alderwoman Haas is number 3. Alderwoman Hobbs is number 5.
Tough, ain't it?
It is hard. It is.
Yeah.
So just like we did last year, each of you were given the opportunity to complete the evaluation. It was done digitally. Thank you for doing that. It makes the process much easier to track. A couple of call-outs I'll make just on the first section. First off, we had 100% participation of all elected officials this year. I point that out because last year we had only 80%. So thank you for participating in the process. The categories remain the same. Section 1 was individual characteristics, followed by professional skills and status, leadership and decision-making, relations with elected members of the governing body. Section 5 was fiscal management. 6 was community engagement. 7, staffing and supervision. 8 was community relations and communication. And 9 was flexibility and adaptability. This year, you can obviously see each of your individual scores and how they relate to the overall score by category. I will point out that this year, Section 5, which was fiscal management, was the high score section of this review, overall at a 4.40. The low section in this review was the 3.67, which was section number 9 on flexibility and adaptability. And overall, the score came in at a 4.0 out of 5. And you can see previous years from 2021 through current on the bottom of page 2. The next set of papers after the score sheet is a summary of the comments and themes throughout this year's evaluation. And then the last section of paperwork is specific comments that Alderwoman Hobbs submitted outside of the space that was on the review sheet itself. So I wanted just to highlight the top section of the evaluation comments, and then I'll field any questions that you all have. So major themes that were highlighted through this year's evaluation: consistent praise for Bruce's professionalism, knowledge, and experience, strong fiscal management and effective communication throughout the budget season, repeated encouragement to delegate more responsibility to staff was noted on the comments. You also noted there was a desire for increased visibility and engagement at city events. There were a number of comments that requested more proactive leadership, innovation, and policy review initiatives. There was recognition of calm leadership during the recent cybersecurity event. And then there were 4 concerns that were a common factor throughout the comments. First, concerns raised about lack of enthusiasm and proactive leadership, concerns regarding the lack of innovation, adaptability, and modernization of administrative practices, concerns about time spent on city recorder duties, and concerns about the accountability and performance of certain department heads. I will remind the board that related to the city recorder concerns, a number of months ago, you all approved our job posting for that role, and our city recorder starts on Monday. So we'll start the training process of getting him acclimated to the way we do things here in Laverne. So It's a good process anytime you have an evaluation. In this setting, it's always difficult probably to present the evaluation publicly to my boss, but that's part of what I've been asked to do. So I'll field any questions that you all have about the scores, the comments, or the packet that I prepared for you.
I'll just comment. I'm sure Bruce will review this and take this into consideration, as he's always done, and hopefully he'll read this and listen and learn and move forward with it. So we've got a city that's getting bigger with bigger budgets, more people, and a lot of things happening in the now and in the near future. And I'm sure Bruce will acclimatise to that, hopefully, and learn from these comments and move forward.
I just want to say, I've probably given Bruce the worst criticism out of the group here, so I will acknowledge that. But I do want to say I am excited for hiring a city recorder coming on. I do think Bruce will definitely step up and get some time off his hands so he can manage things a little bigger on his plate than putting together packets. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen moving forward.
I think this is my 7th year doing this, and I've said it before, and I guess I'll continue to say it. I can appreciate this document. I'm sure it's important, but there's several of these things in here that I feel like does not even pertain to this board, that we don't know anything about. Some of the carrying out his job duties with his employees and department heads and stuff, and it's a guessing game for us to give any kind of due diligence, whether it's good or bad, for this. I think it's important, though, and we try to be as honest as we can. I'm sure I can't even imagine his job with dealing with us, with the department heads, employees, and so on and so forth. But I think some of this stuff is, and I think I commented on some of it. I could go back and look, but some of it is just, I don't even think it pertains to the board myself.
Vice Mayor, I would offer just 2 thoughts on that. One, if you would like to offer any suggestions for questions or category changes, happy to entertain those. Obviously, we have another year before we do this. But also, if you think about a review just like a department head would for staff, obviously not collectively, but individually, you would have opportunity to ask Bruce or any of the other staff questions that you might have before you would complete it, get any clarity that you might need on areas that you might not have oversight on. So definitely would encourage any of you to do that as well. That would be a standard practice that we as department heads would do when we are evaluating at various levels of staff that we might not have the intricate details on.
So the department heads, do they evaluate Bruce, or do they evaluate who? Besides us doing any kind of evaluation on Bruce, does anybody else in the city do evaluations on anybody else?
So Bruce's evaluation is done only by the board.
Okay.
All other employees participate in what has been an annual evaluation process. We did not complete that this year, and the reason for that is together as a group, we met, the HR team and administration met with all departments this year to really hone in on identifying what we had been doing isn't working. The way the document was created, the conversation, the scoring, it just wasn't working. So we reinvented how to do it, and we wanted it built inside of Dayforce. That process has taken longer than was anticipated. So originally my goal was to have that process completed by September so that we could complete staff evaluations in Q4. Here it is, December 2nd. We are not ready for that process yet. So we will not have a individual staff review in 2025, but we will in 2026.
Are those are those evaluations, are they discreet, or do you see who's saying what? I guess to me, if I was an employee, I'd be a little bit reluctant to say something bad about, my peers or whatever, in case there was some kind of, not that you all would do it, I'm certainly not saying that, but let's call it what it is, some kind of retaliation.
So we haven't rolled out sort of publicly the way that the new format would flow, but I'll give you just a preview in the sense that no, it will not be anonymous. Each employee will have the opportunity to complete an evaluation of themselves, which I'm pretty passionate about because I think the employees need to have a voice at that table. And then the supervisor will complete an evaluation of the employee's work. And the supervisor will have the employee's own review available to them. And then that should spark conversations. For instance, if Joe was my boss, which he would love, by the way, Bruce, if you ever want to pawn me off, he would be happy to take me. But if Joe was my boss, he would see what I think of my work. He would be able to do an evaluation of me, and then we would sit down together and go over the results of that. And that conversation should spark any kind of difference, right? Like he could say, Andrew, you gave yourself a 4 in this category. I gave you a 2.5. Let's talk about the why. The new style will be a new model for a lot of our leaders, especially long-term people in Laverne who haven't done it this way. It will generate some difficult conversations, but I think as we move along and continue to do them, those difficult conversations get easier and easier because the employee will know what to expect from their supervisor, and supervisors will have a view of what the employee thinks of their role that they've never had before here.
I think in a perfect world, that'd be wonderful.
Yep, sounds great, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
doesn't always play out that
with
way.
us, we can give we can say what we want to about Bruce. He can't fire us.
And yeah, that's true. And there are plenty of laws that protect employees from retaliation in those kind of situations. And you may have not heard me say it, but I say it a lot when I meet with staff and when we do leadership seminars. But as long as I'm here, I have a 0 retaliation policy. So I'll stand and protect anybody when those circumstances prevail. Sometimes, Vice Mayor, that word is thrown out, and it's not actually that because you have to have a supervisor-employee relationship for that really to pan out. In your example of evaluations, I can understand how that would be, but I don't believe that that's the culture of workplace that we have here, and certainly would support employees in that process.
So, Andrew, in this new format, are y'all going to be doing mid-year conversations also, or?
That's been a conversation. It's the old annual review is really going by the wayside, and more consistent conversations throughout the course of the year are much better for employee relations. It's also, quite honestly, and you've done my job in the private sector, and you understand that when you sit down and have to think back for 12 months, that's really sometimes difficult to do. And if you've had a bad experience with an employee, that's front of mind while you're doing that review. So a more consistent approach for evaluations would be helpful. We are just working on getting the system rebuilt so that we can do an annual. And then I think once we get that under our belt, we know how it works. It's much more simple to roll out quarterly or biannual reviews.
And then this new system is going to have opportunity for goals discussion and development discussions and
skills and competencies and goals.
And
yes,
moving up potentials and stuff like that.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
So Andrew, the plan is next year, fourth quarter, is to do the employees. Is that still the plan? So we're doing evaluations for Bruce and the employees in at the same quarter?
So Bruce's guidelines are set by
contract.
By your contract. I would prefer to not wait till fourth quarter. I'm hopeful that we can finish the programming in Dayforce and be able to roll it out with training in Q1. There's two ideas right now. We haven't landed on which one. If you have an opinion, certainly let me know. But I think a goal would be to complete it in Q2 of next year. One idea is to do employee evaluations on their hire date, so that supervisors aren't necessarily having to do all of them at one point, but they do them around hire dates. I haven't floated that out to my peers, so I don't know if I'm going to get any good facial expressions, but that was a recommendation, especially for bigger departments who might have 60, 70 reviews they have to do at one point. It might be easier to do them if you're doing them in chunks around hire dates as opposed to a set calendar date.
And I would say it was, for me, good to do it online in a computer setting. And obviously, for you doing the calculations, I'm sure it was a lot easier too. It may be tough initially, but when you get the hang of it, it just makes it more simplistic. And obviously, for your calculations, make it a lot easier, as well as giving Bruce more accurate information of some of the comments.
Absolutely. Bruce knows he hired me for my math skills, so doing it online and those auto calculations are certainly helpful.
I'll be anxious to see how those conversations go before and afterwards, and see.
I'm sure you will hear about
see
them.
where
for sure.
the honesty. see where the honesty. All right. Any more discussion?
I just want to add, I'll speak for myself, but, I would honestly be interested in perhaps using that format with Bruce, really, just to see what his self-evaluation is, what his strengths and weaknesses are, and perhaps maybe give him a chance to explain what he felt that he did well on, instead of, again, I'm kind of go off what Vice Mayor No said, is a lot of this is, even from my standpoint, is just an assumption. Conversations I've had with directors on where things could improve and what's going well. But I really think, not that I necessarily need to have a full-blown conversation with Bruce about his performance, but I would like to know where he feels he stands and how things are going.
And last year's review, we did roll out a self-assessment in the city administrator's role. This year we did not, predominantly just because we were so focused on getting the staff reviews programmed.
Sure.
But that's something that's completely feasible to do even still, if that's something that you all would like to have completed.
That's kind of like the old Kentucky cliche. That's what's fair for the goose is fair for the gander. So it makes sense. It's a good point.
And I think it would help us in our evaluations to understand more. I know Bruce is available for us to talk with him, but to see where he thinks he is in here, and that would more or less, and it might spark more conversations when it comes to us going and talking with him. Okay, you said this. What do you support in doing this? I know he loves meeting with us also.
Anytime.
Is that something that you would like to see completed in response to this, or is it something that you would like to see completed mid-year next year before you have to do this, or at the same time as your 26 evaluation?
I think maybe mid-year would be appropriate.
Yeah, it's too late in the game now.
Not just that, but then with the city recorder coming on, things might be totally different 6 months from now.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I think a mid-year and like maybe a month before we do this, do a self-evaluation, and then we can have that as backup, for, because that's what we did in my work.
Mm-hmm.
They did like a month before, they did a self-evaluation, and then their supervisor could see that, and that helped with their evaluation, the supervisor's evaluations. More work, Bruce.
We're gonna put it on you, Bruce.
That's fine.
Speaking of recorder, how's that going?
The city recorder? He is in our orientation. Our last huddle orientation of the year is on Monday. We have a very full class. I think there's 7 or 8 new hires starting, including the city recorder. Danielle's new accountant is starting on Monday. We have police officers that are starting. So we're going to end the year onboarding a bunch of new people, which is always a great way to end.
I guess this board's on a need-to-know thing. I didn't know nothing about it.
So, Andrew, would you say then we'll be exceeding 200 then by the end of the year? Is that the plan?
200.
How many employees will we have?
Right now, well, we're budgeted for 310 in this fiscal year, and we are about 285, give or take, right now. So by the time we onboard on Monday, we'll be over 290.
Well, how the city's grown.
A lot.
In just population, but staff too. I mean,
Yep.
I remember dealing with Bruce almost 30 years ago, and here we are still working it. But it's a tough job. I don't care what people say. Bruce's job is a tough job, and it's a balancing act. And
I wouldn't want it.
And so just keep moving forward, keep learning and improving, and keep the city moving in the right direction.
All right, any more discussion? So this last one, I'll call David McGowan up to the podium. Discussion is to remove the Beautification and Arts Advisory Committee and add the duties to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee.
Yes,
David?
sir. Vice Mayor, thank you. It's proven difficult to produce a quorum for that board at meeting time. I think if we rolled those duties of the Beautification and Arts Advisory Committee under Parks and Rec, it's very doable, and it only makes sense to us, really. Greenway, there's no money budgeted in this fiscal year for that, so we're looking to the future for next fiscal budget year on that. So if we were to even meet, there's really, those discussions have kind of been tabled because there's no progress moving forward on that. So instead of wasting that board's time, I think the Park and Rec Committee could take that over.
Aren't you the chairman of that?
I am, and I actually was the one that approached Bruce and David about this a couple months ago. I think I had 3 meetings in a row where I was unable to make a quorum, and part of that was, maybe it was 6 months ago, we decided that we were going to meet right after the Parks and Recs meeting just because the rest of the board at that time, or the committee at that time, they wanted more frequency in the meeting so we could move forward with certain projects, ideas, continue to brainstorm. And it was hard to do on a quarterly basis where you're only seeing each other once every 4 months to really plan and execute anything. So I increased the frequency of the meeting, hoping that we could start planning, executing some different programs, and as a result of that, we ended up with 3 meetings. Just we're not able to get enough participation on that committee to really warrant David's time, Parks and Rec time. I think, especially like he said, with the Greenway, everything's kind of at a standstill, especially with we're prioritizing the infrastructure here in the city, which I agree is a great idea, versus expansion of the Greenway. And I think until there is money in the budget and we are set to move forward with a Greenway expansion project, I think y'all can handle that until, maybe the project is able to resume, we get some money in the budget to do that, and then maybe pull it back out at that time as its own separate committee. But I think for the time being, there's just no funds there to discuss any kind of expansion projects with the Greenway, and again, I'm just having a hard time keeping a quorum for the beautification committee.
I didn't know that you were the one that approached, so I don't have to ask then that you're okay with this.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
And what about, David, I'm curious, can we ask, or do we still have to go through the process, Bruce, if any of those people are interested in coming on to the Park and Rec Board?
Yeah, we would, disband the existing beautification committee. And obviously, if we had any openings on the Parks and Rec, they would certainly be, able to apply for that committee as well.
So they'd still have to apply for it.
Yes.
And there may be, I think there's one that would serve double duty anyway. I think Ms. Skinner is on both, if I remember correctly. I may not be remembering correctly, but I believe Ms. Skinner is on both of those.
Well, hopefully Tuesday we'll have an opening on that board. So, well, I guess, as you said, if something comes up later down the road and we get funding, some budget money for Greenway, we can call you into a meeting and you can be yeah, okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, David. All right, that will bring us to the end of the workshop. We'll start with comments, starting with Alderwoman Hobbs.
The parade is Saturday, right? What time is it, David?
The parade is at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. We'll see you there. Reigning third place champion. The game is on.
Oof.
What is it?
She's third place.
Won third place last year.
Oh, that is right. And you left before you got your trophy.
We got that trophy. It's mounted in the garage. It's displayed proudly for all to see.
Alderman Coates.
Not this evening, Vice Chair. I'm good. Thank you.
Alderwoman Haas.
Everyone stay safe, and we'll see you at the parade Saturday evening. Well, we got a meeting Thursday night, too, so.
Yes, we got to come back. I just want to say, again, all you department heads, your employees, the city staff, Bruce, man, you guys are struggling. I'm glad to see Miss Donna is somewhat back to the norm at the library. I know this computer stuff has been an absolute nightmare, and I'll ask Andrew tonight, and that'll give him time to think about it for Thursday. How's our party coming along?
Well, I'll answer you tonight since I won't be here on Thursday.
I did not know that. Well,
Our staff holiday party is Saturday, the 13th, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We had our final meeting with catering this week, and there's a lot of new secrets that we will be unrolling at the event on that Saturday, and looking forward to it.
And I guess I speak for the board members, they're still not eligible for any prizes.
Yeah, let me check really quick. That is correct.
Okay. All right. With that being said, I call this meeting adjourned.